Hey, my love. Welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast. I am your host, Erica E. And for those who are new, welcome to your first luxury listening experience. And what that means is you're going to get quality in every single episode that you listen to and every single blog post that you see. I create quality content that you can see, hear, and feel. And I'm so excited to have you here. And in this episode, we are going to talk about your thoughts. Your thoughts of finally becoming a business owner, starting your brand, being a content creator, or starting your own podcast. You have these ideas, you were blessed with the creativity, and now you're trying to figure out, well, how can I execute all of this greatness into the world? And I'm here to tell you that you can, and I want to assist you with that. So just to know, I started my podcast 3 years ago. So I am a beginner. I am not a pro, but we're going to talk about what inspired me to do this episode. And in this episode, we are going to discuss 10 different tips that you can start using that will help alleviate the stress and get you into action to putting your brand out there. We have a lot to cover, so let's get into it because success is on the way, okay? When you decide that you want to do your own thing, there are so many emotions that you feel all at once. You're excited, you're happy, you're scared, you're nervous. You know that you have to do research, but you don't know what you're looking for. You want to start, you don't know where to start, you don't know how to start, you don't know who to speak to because not everybody's in your profession or your field, and you don't know what to do. So there is all of this joy because you have realized that you are gifted. You have a gift and you want to share it with the world. I don't care if it's a podcast, a brand, content creator, you're starting your own business, you're making cookies, you're making jewelry, clothing. I don't care what it is. Anytime that anybody puts themselves out there, it's a beautiful thing because you are allowing other people to get into your creative space and be inspired by it. That's how I look at it. So 3 years ago, I decided to start the Save the Good Girl brand. And I was nervous because I had an idea and I wrote everything down, but I didn't know how to execute this. There was a lot of logistics that I had to figure out and I didn't know what to do. So what I did was I started doing research and it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. And what inspired me to do this particular episode is that there is a lot of information out there and there's a lot of podcasters who have a lot of great help. I know that people want to make money. That's the whole point, right? You want to do your brand because you love it, but your hope is that you can garnish enough income where this can support you. Like you can actually make money from what you love. And that's what I want to do as well. But here's the thing. I did too much research and I was extremely overwhelmed. And I felt like right now I'm still in the beginner phases. 3 years ago is not like I've been doing this for 25 years and I have all these brand partnerships. I am in the beginner phase and I wanted to break it down very piecemeal. This episode is not an advanced episode. I'm not going to tell you how to get more listeners or how to get more clients or how to do social media, how to edit. This is not this particular episode, but there is so much wonderful information out there on YouTube and on the internet that you guys can check out. This is more so like, here are 10 things that I think that if you put these 10 things into place, what it will do is help alleviate the stress of starting your own business. A lot of times what really stresses people out is being overwhelmed and then it delays the creativity. The creativity doesn't get fed when we're overwhelmed. There's no way. That's why when I record, I can't talk to certain people because it really slows down my creativity. And you are a creative. That's why you want to do your own thing. So in order for us to not be in a place where we are overwhelmed, we are concerned, we are stressed, we need to consistently be at a place of ease. So how do we do that? By listening to the Save the Good Girl podcast. Duh. And guys, I want you to stay connected. So please follow Save the Good Girl on all social media platforms and subscribe on savethegoodgirl.com so you never miss when I drop an episode or a new blog post. So now that we have gone over all of this, I wanted to get into the first step that I have, the first tip that I have, which is you need to know your why. You need to know your why. People really are attached to a story. So if you don't know why you're doing something, for some reason, it just kind of makes it seem like you're following a trend versus doing it because you're passionate about it. And I know I'm not the only person that can tell when someone is passionate. You can tell when someone is passionate about cooking, when someone is passionate about health and wellness, when someone is passionate about sports. You can see it in their eyes. Their passion is there. So you need to understand what your why is. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to have a fashion blog? Why do you want to create this podcast? What is your goal for it? What do you want your audience to know? What kind of brand partnerships would you like in the future? So these things are really, really important to know. Earlier this year, I went to New York Fashion Week and I met with the brand. I'm not going to say their name, but I met with the brand and I was so intrigued by the name. So I was like, oh, where did this name come from? What does it mean? And they were like, oh, no, it doesn't mean anything. He just, wanted to just say this. He just made it up and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay, which is fine because it doesn't take away from the beauty of the brand. But I will say, this is not 1980s where people just buy a product just to buy it. People are really intrigued by the story. They are really intrigued by the why. They are really intrigued by, the passion behind it because what that really does is solidifies you as an expert. Because somebody who's passionate about something, they are going to read about it, they are going to learn about it, they are really invested in it. There was a woman, she loved doing nails, like she loved doing nails, and she used to do my nails. And she told me she went to a convention in France to invest in her business, to learn certain things about the cuticles and nail growth and all these wonderful things. So when she was doing my nails and she's charging a little extra for all this expertise, I paid her for it because I know my nails are not going to be frail when she's working on it. And to be honest with you, they weren't. So whatever she learned in France was great. I need to go over there myself. Like, seriously. So knowing your why is so important. I actually was a leader and I lead people and I train people and I manage things and I did all of that. And one of the biggest things that I taught in training was you have to understand your why. Your why will help you in many ways. Number one, it helps you with your brand identity. It helps you create your brand DNA. It helps you with creativity for your brand, figure out your brand colors, the photos that you like. So all of that encompasses with the mission and the passion. So once you understand your why, it makes a big deal. That's the first thing. The second reason why it's important to know your why is that it is your driving force. We all have cell phones. What happens when the cell phones die? We have to charge it. Doesn't mean you throw it away. Is it that you have to charge your phone? That's how it is for us. We need to understand our why so that we can get charged up and do all the things that we need to do. So knowing your why, knowing your history, knowing you're passionate about it, all of these things are so important because people will drive and flock to you. So that's my first tip. Know your why, know your passion. Why do you want to do this so that you can be consistent? If you don't know your why, you'll realize that you'll fade out sooner than you need to. So that's tip number one. Let's get into tip number two. So excellent. We know our why, and what that will do for us is keep everything cohesive. We're not going to have a directionless brand, and people are going to understand what we're doing and why we are doing it. So, tip number two, really important. What is your brand name or podcast name? Now, you could be thinking about using your name, or you could be thinking about a name that you had before, or you could be thinking about naming it after something you really love. Whatever it is, you have to know your name and you have to be in love with it. So, what I would recommend is write everything down that speaks to you. Take note of everything, anything that you cannot stop thinking about. So, when I decided to call my brand Save the Good Girl, what happened was I was writing Facebook status posts, and at the end of every post I would write, I would hashtag Save the Good Girl because I was talking about like dating and working and things that we need to do to keep ourselves up and inspired and motivated. And people would send me messages like, yo, this is really helping me out. Like I look forward to your post. So when I was thinking about doing the podcast, I wrote down over 100 different names, but nothing stood out to me more than Save the Good Girl. And I'm like, why am I trying to figure it all out when I already have the name? But I'm happy that I did because all it did was confirm that this was the name. So I would recommend write everything down, say it out loud and write it. So I used to I used to like say, welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast. Like I wanted to see how it sound, right? Like Erica, Save the Good Girl. Welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast. And I would write it out to see how I liked how it looked. And I would say it, I would sound it out. So there were so many things that I was doing to ensure that I loved it. So once I understood the name and I love the name, the next important thing that you need to do is get all of the social media handles, every single one of them. Facebook, Twitter or X, I know they changed it, Threads, Instagram, Pinterest, any social media that you use, I would highly recommend secure all of the social media handles, secure the email, and secure the site domain if you plan on having a website. If you love it, if you're securing it and you love it, I would recommend that. Now, to take it a step further, if you love this name and you're going to rock with it for sure, like you are confident this is it, the next thing I would highly, highly, highly recommend is that you speak to an attorney and have your name trademarked or copyright, whatever you need to do. If you have it trademarked, get it trademarked in all categories, meaning you can sell products, you can do a business conference, you can travel, you can do whatever. There's a lot of different categories that your attorney will go over with you. You don't know how big your brand is going to be. Do not undermine yourself and think, oh, it's just a small brand. Nope. Get it categorized. I did so many categories. I'm like, yep, all of that. He said, you're going to do events? Yep. Are you going to sell products? Yep. Do I have products to sell right now? No, but I am planning on doing that. So I wanted to make sure that I was legally protected. So make sure that you legally protect yourself. Another important thing that I would really be mindful of is when you have your name, until you speak with your attorney, do not share your name with everybody. Talk to, your close friends if you'd like, or maybe your close family members, but do not share it, because what happens is when people get excited, they might be like, oh my God, Erica's starting her podcast, Save the Good Girl. And when I would talk to people, people really love the name. So I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I need to secure it first. Once it was secured, I didn't care who knew about it, because if you tried to use it, I could sue you. So it's fine. So do what you got to do, right? So legally secure yourself, protect yourself, and really understand how this works with an attorney. Make sure that you follow up with your attorney to make sure that your trademark is active and live. And then you should be good when it comes to your name. It is a big, big deal to do that. So when you think about your podcast name, when you think about your ability to blow up and really do really great things for yourself, you got to trademark. Even celebrities make mistakes on that. They have these wonderful ideas and they have trademarking issues. So with Beyonce's daughter Blue Ivy, Beyonce and Jay-Z have been struggling for years to trademark Blue Ivy's name. They have been struggling for years. Kim Kardashian trademarked all of her kids' names. So if anybody tried to even take Northwest, they can't, right? So protect your business. Know that it is going to be big. We're going to manifest that from the jump. So do not undermine yourself. So when it comes to your name, make sure that you write your name down. Make sure that you say it out loud. Make sure that you write it all down. You love it. Get all the social media handles, the email address, the website. Stay quiet with who you speak to so nobody takes your stuff on the low, and talk to an attorney and make sure that you are securing yourself legally. Okay. That is step number 2. Let's go on to step number 3. Number 3, and this one is important. Your friends and your family may not be your audience. Your friends and family may not be your consumers. Your friends and family may not be your followers. Your friends and family may not show up to your events. They may not like your posts. They may not share your posts. They may not do anything. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because when you are starting your own thing, you are very nervous. You are very scared. And you would think that the people you love and they love you, that they would support you and help you and validate you and, just be there. But that's not always the case. And I also want to add that support does come in many different ways. So let's say somebody doesn't care about cakes and cupcakes and you have a cupcake brand. Let's say they don't really care about it, right? But maybe they will share with somebody like, "Oh, by the way, this person has a cupcake brand." So I don't think you should stop promoting yourself or telling what you do to your friends and family, because you never know who they could direct your page to. Let's say you're into fashion and you want to do content creation for fashion, and you're doing get ready with me, and your family and friends don't really care about that. That's okay, because maybe somebody that they know does, and they can direct them to your page. Do not reveal what you feel to everyone. Do not reveal what you feel to everyone. Not everybody will care or understand or support you with every single detail of your business. So, what happens is when you finally got your logo together, when you finally got your name, when you finally speak to attorney, these things are exciting, right? You have your business trademark, you have an idea, you're ready to go. But then if you talk to someone who doesn't care, what can happen is it can bring back that fear and those doubts that you had, originally. So you want to be very careful with that, because again, we need to protect the creativity. Focus on maybe a select few people that you know that they really care about you. And how do you know if someone really cares? How do you know if someone cares? You know when someone cares when they are attentively listening to you. You know when someone cares when they ask questions. Follow-up questions. Oh, you spoke with the attorney? How was that? How did it go? What do you think? Da, da, da. When they're asking questions, when they listen, and also when they follow up. Oh, didn't you say last week you had a call with an attorney? How did that go? So that's how you know when people genuinely care about what you're doing. They're not being, oh, okay, yeah, okay. No energy. We don't need that. We need a lot of love, a lot of support, and a lot of hype for our business. And I will tell you right now that you need to be your own hype man. You need to be your own cheerleader. You need to be the one collecting the tickets. You need to be the one on the stage, cleaning the stage. You are a one woman slash man show. Okay. So be mindful that this should not deter you from doing your own thing. Now, I will be honest with you. When I first started out my business, I was not upset, but I was kind of like paying attention to how people were. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't expect that from you. Not you. Like, I talk to you all the time. And now you acting funny. That's weird. And also with social media, right? I would see people liking all these celebrity posts, saying happy birthday to a celebrity that you don't know, liking their business ventures. Like, oh, this person's doing this. And you're liking all of that, but would not like anything that I'm doing, but then looking at my page. So just know that people are going to stalk you. They're going to look, but they might not support you like that. And that's okay. Because guess what? You want genuine support. You want people who are going to really love what you do. They appreciate what you do. They get value from it. There's people that haven't heard an episode. They don't know what my blog looks like. They don't know what savethegoodgirl.com looks like. They don't know what my Instagram. They don't know. And it is not my job to force anybody to do anything. We want genuine support. And when you get out of your way, your clients, your consumer, your audience, they will be on their way. And that is a quote from Tanya, my friend, who told me that. Like, when you get out of your own head, get out of your way, and your business will be on their way. So just have very limited expectations for people and maximum expectations for yourself, because starting your own thing can be scary. What we don't need is for anyone to interrupt our flow as we're trying to get our minds right. So we got this. Keep going, keep doing your thing, and talk to people who are really consistent with you and who really love and care about what you're about to embark on. That's what we need. Let's get into step number 4, boo. We're doing really good. Let's get into step number 4. Step number 4, boo, write everything down. Write every single thing down, because here's the thing: you are a creative. As a creative, we have so many ideas that we cannot keep up. Once you've made the decision that you want to start your own thing, your ideas will continue to flow like crazy. You're going to have ideas for your logo. You're going to have ideas for your brand colors. You're going to have ideas for your website design. You're going to have ideas for your product design. You're going to have ideas for your outfits. You're going to have ideas for Instagram and your reels and concepts for your business. Write every single thing down. So when I started Save the Good Girl, originally I had a coffee theme at first, and I wrote everything down about the coffee theme. It was like, I need neutral colors. I need, like warm colors, because coffee is not like hot pink and yellow and all of that. So I thought about like, how do I feel? Like, I want the person to feel warm. I want them to feel like they're sitting down and having a conversation with me. This year, I changed the theme to a luxury theme. So the colors are still neutral, but they're softer. And the luxury theme came from me working in the field of luxury and knowing that luxury is all about craftsmanship, it's all about quality. And that's what I aim to do, is give a quality podcast as well as a quality blog. So I changed the videos, I changed the colors a little bit, a little softer. I had all these ideas of what I want to do, but I'm telling you, I had to write it down. Sometimes I had ideas at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would go use the bathroom, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I have an idea. When I'm driving, I would have an idea. So please write everything on your phone, have a notebook. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself organized with your thoughts and ideas, do it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to say, oh, I had an idea to do this like fashion, with me in these outfits. And then you're going to forget what outfits you were thinking about. I'm telling you, I know it sounds like I'm not going to forget, but you are going to forget. So write every thought that you are thinking about, write it down. Get creative, and then look at different designs and see what interests you as you're doing any research. Pay attention to what you are passionate about, what gets you excited when you speak. If you're doing a podcast and you want to talk about different ideas or different topics, what topics gets you excited? Like, when you talk about it, does it really ignite you? And if it does, write down those podcast topics. Write them down. If you have a fashion idea, write them down. If you are a baker and you have a new cookie idea that you tried, write down what you did, because what happens is we're creatives. So we know how to do things on the sly. We can do it right now because we're gifted in that way. But do we remember? Because that was my thing. Like, I don't know if I remember. Like, so what I did when I was away from Save the Good Girl, I had ideas all on my phone. An app that I really love is Google Keep. Google Keep, Google Keep. And I wrote down all these ideas, y'all. I mean, so many topics for the podcast, so many topics. When I decided to come back, luckily, what I love about Google Keep is that I was able to write it on my phone, but also access the document on my desktop. And what I did was take all of my ideas down, put it in a Word document, and printed it. Do you guys know I had 16 pages of topics? You'll be surprised of how many ideas you're going to have when it comes to social media, when it comes to collaborations, when it comes to anything involving your business, a product idea, maybe the way you wrap your product, how you deliver. I don't know. But you're going to have all these ideas. So do not forget to write every single thing down and make it fun. Get a fun notebook, get a cute app. With Google Keep, there's different colors. I use different colors for different things. I have my podcast ideas for my full episodes. I have my podcast ideas for SOE. I have ideas for Instagram. I have ideas for Pinterest. Write everything down. You're going to be so happy that you did, and you're going to have all your thoughts together because you are putting your brand in a particular order, and it is going to be received in that way because guess what? You listen to the Save the Good Girl podcast, and you wrote it down, and you cute, and you fly. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? That's real New York. I'm sorry. Let's get into step number 5. We are doing good. I hope you guys have your pen and your notebook. Write all these tips down. But we are going to step number 5. Number 5, we need to educate ourselves. That's step number 5. Educate yourself. Whether you decide to do courses, go back to school, talk to people that you know, get a mentor, or go to YouTube, educating yourself about your particular industry is vital. Educating yourself about the equipment that you need is vital. Educating yourself on how to use social media. Social media is vital to everybody's business, regardless of what you're doing. We want visibility. We want people to see us, know us, buy from us, listen to us, follow us. enjoy us, and be really into our brand. And how do we do that? We need to put beautiful things out there and showcase our beautiful work or our beautiful voices, right? So, educating yourself is really important. So, to truly understand what you need, there are certain steps you need to take. And let's say you wanted to look at reviews, right? So, I bought my microphone equipment. Shout out to Lisa. Thank you, boo. So, I got my microphone and certain things that I needed to record my podcast. So, what I did before I purchased the microphone, I actually watched a lot of reviews on the best microphone to start podcasting on a budget. Okay, on a budget. And I watched a lot of videos and I saw there was this one particular mic. So I decided to invest money in that, and also going over the setup that I have, the website that I'm using, which I'm using is Wix. And I did a lot of research on different websites hosts, and I really, really enjoyed what Wix had to offer. Also, another investment, and that's the thing, when you're deciding to educate yourself, you may have to invest in certain things like your cell phone. So I had to upgrade my cell phone because I knew that I was going to start doing reels and videos, because right now social media is extremely interactive. And the phone that I had was older, not as up to date. And I really wanted clear videos and clear photos. So I decided to, one of the things that was on my list was to update my phone. And that was an investment that I needed to make. I really had to have a new phone to take my videos, take my reels, take my photos, and also communicate with my following. And I wanted to make sure that everything was beautiful and everything is clear, because unfortunately, right now, you cannot afford to have a blurry photo unless it's like an aesthetic thing. But other than that, you can't afford to have a blurry photo because people will not follow you. If your quality of your sound is not good, you have the best content in the world, but if the quality of the sound is not good, people are not going to listen. If your product is not exactly the way it needs to be, if it's not of quality, people will not purchase. They will leave horrible reviews. So it's very important that we invest in the right things. But before we do that, we have the internet. There is nothing that you cannot learn how to do on the internet or reviews on the internet to make the best decision for yourself. And I do want to add, quality products doesn't have to be expensive at all. So continue to educate yourself and make sure that you get the right things that's going to work for you. Another thing that you need to do is figure out what can you strengthen. So in my previous profession, I am a leader. So I have to manage people. I had to do public speaking. I had to talk and train. And it's a very interactive role, right? So even though I know how to speak in public, I'm not shy. It doesn't bother me. It's fine. I still watched a lot of public speaking videos to help with the podcast flow. I watched a lot of videos on podcasting to see tips on how to do your intro, how to do an outro, how do you have your audience stay captivated, and all. I did a lot of research on that. Another thing that I would do is do watch videos on voice exercises, because as I'm speaking, I don't want my voice to crack and I want to make sure that I'm enunciating every single word. So before I would record an episode, I would be like, me, la 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 la. Like I would do all of that because I wanted to make sure that as I'm recording, everything that I'm saying to you guys is very, very, very clear. So it is very, very important to know that right now there's nothing that you cannot learn. I also did a podcasting class. So there was I forgot the website, but there's a website that basically you could find different like classes, like a one-time thing, like different classes all around in New York. I live in New York, and for anything like baking, podcasting. So I saw one for podcasting and I was like, ooh, let me try that one. And it was really, really helpful. So either taking like a class or a course or YouTube or the internet, watching reviews, talking to people, getting a mentor, get to know your industry, get to know the equipment, get to know what you need to invest on. Plan on your education tools. Who are the teachers for you? We are creating our own school. The internet is easily accessible. I was doing research in the morning, noon, and night. When I woke up brushing my teeth, I'm watching a YouTube video. When I was going to sleep, I was watching a YouTube video. There is so much you can learn. It is unlimited information out there. So please take the time before you come out with your brand to educate yourself on social media, educate yourself on podcasting, educate yourself on the fashion industry and see what's trending, educate yourself on baking or whatever it is that you're interested in, but do the work to educate yourself because I'm telling you, it will help you greatly in the long run. We are doing so good. We are doing so good. Like our brands are about to be popping, okay? So we know our why. We have our brand name and we got a trademark. We know our support expectations. We know that we need to write everything down. We know that we need to educate ourselves. And now, number six is creating a strategy slash business plan. So now that we've done our research, we need to think about the plan for the show or your business. Do you want a logo? What colors speaks to you? What products do you want to produce? What services may you need? Or what services do you want to provide? What episodes do you want to talk about? How long do you want your episodes to be? How often do you want to post? If you're doing a social media content creator, how many days do you want to post your content? How many reels do you need to produce in a week? How long does it take for you to produce a reel? These are certain things that we need to think about because we also need to think about the time and also the cost of the equipment. So for my website, I have to pay for the website. I have to pay for the attorney. I had to pay for the equipment. I had to pay for certain things. So all of this was all in my strategy and business plan. As discussed before, I did my research and I had to find out what is worth me investing into. So anything that you need to take care of and have yourself do your business in an easier way, you need to take note of that. Do you need a new chair? Do you need some pens? Do you need a notebook? Like, what do you need in your office space to make your life easier? Do you need to pay for a service for your business that would make it easier? So I know for myself with YouTube, now the podcast is on YouTube and YouTube, they want videos and all of that. But I have all this wonderful audio, and I'm like, I really want to transfer my audio into YouTube and make it look beautiful. So I pay for a service that does my YouTube videos for me that automatically uploads my podcast into YouTube format. That was an investment for me because YouTube is really, really big and they want to get over to the podcasting side. So why not have the podcast there and gain listeners? Maybe some of you are listening to my podcast on YouTube. So just so you understand, right? I had to think about that. I had to think about the notebooks that I needed and anything that I needed. I had to think about the frequency of my podcast. So I decided I wanted to do a short episode on Tuesday, a longer episode on Friday, and those days were intentional to me. Tuesday is like the beginning of a week, something quick, something easy. The reason why I chose Friday was because Friday we're going into the weekend. So you might have more time to listen, relax, and enjoy. So, in terms of the frequency, the length of the podcast, I decided that SOE episodes will be no more than 20 minutes because I thought about like a quick break. And then my longer episodes would be no more than an hour. So, that was the choice that I've made. Think about your brand cover. So, what do you want your Instagram photo to look like, the brand photo? What do you want your podcast cover to look like? What do you want your branding to look like? When do you have an about me page? What do you want that to look like? When you think about your website design, what do you want that to look like? So when I did my website, I knew that I loved writing. So in addition to podcasting, I also have a blog on savethegoodgirl.com because I love to write. And because I'm creating my own brand, I could do what I want. So I decided to add a blog portion as well. And I knew that when I did my website, I was going to have a blog section. So I created a blog section, a podcast section, and also an about me section as well. I created a logo and I used the same photo for all social media platforms. So anytime you change your photo on one platform, you should change it for all of them because you really want to have that brand recognition. So I changed the photos on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Threads, whatever I have, I changed the photos so it can all be cohesive and the same. Also, I decided to do a direct me link page because I wanted to make it easy for everybody. So when you click on the link, and you guys will see that on savethegoodgirl.com. And also, what I will say is part of educating yourself is like looking out to see what other people are doing. If you guys want, you can take a look at my website as a light example. Again, I'm not a pro, but you can take a look at my website as a light example. I do have a link page, and the reason why I have a link page is because people are lazy. They don't want to type anything up. So I have easy access to all of my social media platforms, and it clicks to every single link that my podcast is available. So when you go to savethegoodgirl.com, click on links, and let's say you listen to my podcast on Spotify, I have a link that takes you directly to Spotify. I have a link that takes you directly into YouTube. I have a link that takes you directly into Amazon. So wherever you're listening, I just wanted to make it very convenient and easy for my listeners and anybody who goes to my website. When you think about your strategy and business plan, also think about how are you going to get listeners, right? How are you going to work on your brand? How are you going to get people to follow you? So you want to think about your brand in that way. And I would highly recommend that you watch social media videos on how to really garnish that, because it will be really helpful, because we need that visibility to get that check. We need that visibility to get those followers, and they will come, but we do have to do some research. So think about your brand strategy, think about your plan, think about, how do you want it to look, and also think about what is going to be feasible for you. Understand your schedule to know how much time can I dedicate to my brand? Because most people who are deciding to do this still have a full-time job. So how can I work on this and work and not overwork myself? Because remember, creativity doesn't work well when it's overwhelmed. Okay. So think about that as well, as part of your brand strategy. Like, okay, every Sunday I'm working on blank, blank, blank. The more that you have a cohesive schedule for yourself, the better it will be for you and your business. We got our why. We understand that we need to educate ourselves. We have the equipment, we have the ideas, we have some logos. So we're doing pretty good. Now we need to practice. We need to practice before we do the big game. We got to practice. And the best tip that I've learned in the podcasting class that I took was for me to practice using the microphone and hearing my voice. And what they suggested was do an episode of you talking about your morning, what you ate for breakfast, what did you do in the morning, what did you do during the day, make it 10 minutes and just talk about your day and hear your voice, hear a dictation, get close to the microphone, see how far you are from the microphone, see your sound, understand how to use the microphone. And that was a really great advice, because I think people just want to get on the mic and start, talking. And it's like, which you can. However, you want to make sure that the quality of your podcast is great. Every single time I record an episode, I have to make sure the position of my mic is great. So I always do testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 at least 5 or 7 times before I finally decide to record. And I keep it in that position until I am done recording. So you want to ensure that you are practicing. So let's say with social media is changing a lot. Every single week, there's a new update with Instagram, Facebook, with X now, with Threads, with Pinterest, with TikTok. There's so many different things you can do that's going to attract your viewers, to attract your listeners, to attract your consumers. There's so many fun things you can do. So you need to keep up with those trends. And then when you finally get it, you have to practice. So whether it's practice using reels, whether it's practicing with the photos, whether it's practicing how to, use a particular equipment that you're using, or if you're doing a podcast, practicing using your voice and hearing your voice and practicing with the podcast, practicing and drafting your information is important. So when I was blogging, I never blogged before. So what I used to do was draft my blog post, and I had to get comfortable with my website. So yes, I had this beautiful website, but then I didn't really know how to use it. So I had to watch videos on that, draft my blog post, and really understand my platforms. And what it did for me was it helped me alleviate the stress, because I was playing with it for so long that I got comfortable. So now I know how to do reels. Now I know how to make my stories pop. Now I know like minimal things, and I'm still learning and I'm still learning. So we need to practice because it will help us move faster as we continue to go. Because once you start, you have to be consistent. And what can really slow consistency down is lack of education and lack of comfortability. We don't want that to happen to us. So the more we practice, the more comfortable we are with using these platforms, the more comfortable we are, if you are into podcasting, with hearing your voice and editing your podcasts and figuring out your sound. What kind of music do you like? What kind of intro do you like? All of these things are important, especially when you're creating your own brand. Another tip that I will give you is when you are practicing, take a break. Yeah, take a break, because what will end up happening is that, which is a mistake I did, I would be up until like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I would not recommend that. I wouldn't, because I was getting tired, and whatever I was producing during that time wasn't really like the best. So you need to sleep, wake up with fresh eyes, and then see what you need to edit and what you need to work on. So give yourself a break. Do not, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I really wouldn't. Give yourself rest. Rest your eyes, see what you like and what you need to work on, because sometimes you may not catch the mistake the night before, but when you're really rested, you might be like, oh, I didn't see that. So practice. Draft your blog post if you're a blogger. Practice your cupcakes, practice your fashion blog, practice your business. You have a product, you have a service. Practice how you're going to talk to your consumers. Practice how you would do an Instagram story. Hear your voice. Nobody has to see it. Nobody has to see it. This is just for you. So practice, 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 because it really does. It really, really does make it perfect or close, because we're always learning, but practice really does help alleviate that stress, and it gets us where we need to be, and it allows us to really understand how we need to use every single service that we have, how to use every social media platform that we have, and garnish the listeners and consumers that we want, because that is what we're trying to do, and we're going to do it in the right way, because nobody wants no blurry picture. Mm-mm. Ooh, so we are doing amazing. We are doing amazing. We're feeling good. We've just finished practicing. Now, the next step, number 8, is action and intention. Pro tip. This is really important. Be intentional from the beginning. You don't know when people are going to discover you. And when they do, they are going to look at your past anything, your past episodes, your past posts, your website. They are going to look into anything, because once somebody really likes you, they're looking into everything. So I checked my analytics recently, and I saw my analytics, in addition to people looking at my newer episodes, a lot of people are listening to episodes that I posted 3 years ago, which is perfect, because my podcast is a timeless podcast. I am not talking about, pop culture or anything that you need to follow up with me every single week. You can go on Save the Good Girl, and you can scroll through the topics and scroll through the titles and see which one speaks to you the most. So I love that. But I was intentional from the jump. If I recorded something and I did not like the way that it sounded, I was deleting it and doing it over and over and over and over again. I cannot tell you guys, even doing this episode, how many times I recorded myself and I did not like it. I did not like the placement of the mic. I didn't like the way I sound. I didn't like anything. So I just deleted it and did it again. But just know that when you are doing your business, people will go back to look at your old things and see how dedicated you are. And they want to see everything else that you're doing, because now they like you. You've sold them, right? They like you. So I remember a few years ago, I was introduced to Cleo Soul. Love Cleo Soul, love her as an artist, or any artist that I like. And when I listened to that one song that she had, When I'm in Your Arms, I loved it. So I listened to the whole album, and then I'm like, ooh, wait, I like I like this album. But then I'm like, ooh, let me see her other album. And I looked at all of her albums, all of her old songs, and I loved everything, because I really enjoyed what I heard the first time. So just know, take every single post, every single hashtag, your video quality, your voice recordings, take every single thing seriously. Be sure to edit, be sure to look at everything before you finally post it. You don't know what celebrity, you don't know what person, you don't know who is going to discover you and love everything that you do. And when they love you and they love your personality and they love your product or they love your podcast and they love your blog and they love your content, they love your fashion, they love the vibrancy of you, they are going to look into everything because you know why? Now they are invested in you. They are invested. You have to continue to do all of that double, triple checking until you are happy with what you see. So until I'm happy with my podcast recording or my blog post, I am not releasing it. I will stay up late to do what I need to do to make sure that it is perfect. For my social media, Instagram, I have reels. Sometimes I notice that there's an error in the caption. I have to fix it, or if the video is the quality of the sound. I have to make sure that the sound is not too loud so that when I'm doing my voiceovers, people can hear me. So, all of these things are really important when it comes to your action plan and being intentional. Being intentional. So you have an understanding of your why, you have your research, you have your equipment, you have your podcast topics, you're doing really great. So you're ready. You're at the place right now where you're ready to go. You're ready to at least put something out there, even if you didn't release it yet, but just really fine tune it. So when it comes to the podcast, if you are looking to do a podcast, make sure that you do a trailer for your podcast and have the first episode in. Now, a tip that I will give you for podcasters is that you should have at least 5 episodes ready to go before you launch. Mhm. 5, because you need to promote your podcast, you need to talk to people, you need to do so many more things that you don't want to have to worry about, oh my god, I have to record and have that stress because it is a new thing for you. So before you launch, give yourself a launch date in advance that only you know, because if you want to push it back or change it, So I was very intentional with my launch date. My launch date was on Juneteenth of 2020, and I just felt like not only is it freedom, for us, but freedom for me, getting out of my way, getting out of my head. So I was very intentional on coming out with that on Juneteenth. So when you have your launch date, think about the action steps that you need to take so that you can launch during that time, and make sure that you have those episodes edited and ready in the vault. If you have your products, make sure those pictures are in the vault. Make sure if you are a content creator, you have your reels saved, you have your story ideas saved. It really helps to write every single thing down. And you need to do all of these action steps in order to get ready for launch day, which we are going to talk about that in step number 9. Oh, did you guys just hear that? Oh, it was success, wealth, peace, joy. They're all on like a four-way call, and they just called us. So I hope you guys are ready because they are knocking. Okay. So, number 9, very fun and very important, launch day slash celebration. You need to have a plan for your launch day. What is your social media plan? What time are you going to post? What is your post? Are you going to send everything to your friends and your family, which I highly recommend that you do? Send everybody a text message with whatever photo you choose and let them know what you're doing and that today is the day. Put it in all your group chats, put it in your stories, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on, X. I see, I have to get it right. Put it on threads, put it everywhere. Have a social media plan for your day. People are going to congratulate you, reach out to everybody, let them know that you are grateful, you are thankful. And then you want to think about your post afterwards, right? Because now you have this momentum. So you want to think about, are you going to post daily? Are you going to post, weekly? There are also certain platforms that can post automatically for you to give yourself more time, especially when you are working full time. You don't want to have to worry about all of that. So there's like a platform called Later. I know that Canva also does it as well to help you post automatically for you. So you want to look into that. Like, if you don't have the time to do it all, in all your platforms, there are resources out there that's going to help you post everything all at once. I used to use Later and I did enjoy it because it just, writing a caption and hashtags and all of that on the slide every day, that's not an easy thing to do, especially when you have other things going on. So I would recommend that you really look into that. So give yourself a launch day, enjoy your launch day, and then you need to plan a celebration for yourself. You have to. I don't care if it's with you, with a friend, with a family member, with your spouse. I don't care who it is, but you need to plan a celebration. You just work so hard on putting yourself out there, pushing past your fear, excited for your brand. You finally got your logo. You finally did your research. You finally got the equipment that you needed. Your product, your service, your content, your podcast, your blog, your business is out. You did it. You finally did it. And it feels good. You deserve a toast. You deserve that celebration. You deserve to look fly. I don't care if your celebration is a coffee in the morning from your favorite coffee shop. You need to do it. So this year, my celebratory um, event that I did was go to a R&B concert because I love R&B. So I went to an R&B concert. I had brunch and I was in a city and I really wanted champagne because I knew that I worked really, really hard. And that's what I wanted. So I planned it out with me and my friend. She was also launching her fashion blog. You should check her out. Her fashion blog is That's So Tanya. It's really good. Really, really good. So I did all the fashions. Okay. All the fashions all the time. So I did that. We planned it out and it was great. It was great. And it felt good to celebrate me. So I would highly recommend y'all celebrate yourself, enjoy your moment and what you're about to embark on. Please put that in the calendar because you don't want to just keep going, 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 going and never stop. I want you to process what just happened. I want you to process that you are pushing past your fear. I want you to process it. And we can only do that when we take a pause. So we've done so much. And now it's time for us to just chill and enjoy and acknowledge like this is what's going to happen and set some intentions for your brand or business. Something that I did as well is I prayed on it and I just asked God, like I prayed on my cell phone. Like before I turned on my cell phone, I knew that this cell phone, what the purpose was for me. I said, God, please bless this cell phone and any creative thing that I do in here. It's going to be through you. Please bless my voice. Please bless this microphone. So, you want to do that if you are spiritual, you want to make sure that you are including God in everything that you're doing. I do because I know the impact that I have when I put my voice out there. And I want to make sure that it's done in the right way and efficiently and the way that I intend. And I can only do that from Him. So, Him and I talk all the time and celebrate yourself. Be proud. Be proud of yourself and do it for you. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. It could be whatever you want. If you want to get 100 balloons, do that. If you want to get a coffee, do that. If you want to go to the spa, do that. If you book a vacation, do that. Whatever it is that you need to do, you want to celebrate yourself and enjoy the success of your launch. You did it. Dun, da, 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 we made it to the end. Dun, da, 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 we made it number 10. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We have made it to number 10. I really hope that thus far you're feeling inspired, you're feeling excited, you're not as overwhelmed, and you are ready to put your wonderful services, brand, content, products out there. That is my hope as you are listening to this episode. Number 10 is we need to be consistent and frequent. So, number 10 is consistency, frequency, and relevancy. Very important. We need to be consistent. We need to be energized. We need to be creative. We need to be action based. And guess what's really important with that? Your emotions. Your emotions. Everything is real. Everything is that deep. Energy transfer is very, very real. Be mindful of who you speak to keep your creativity up. This is something that I have learned while doing this podcast. You have to be very intentional about your day. It can affect you. I cannot record and I won't if my energy is not right. I will not send that energy to y'all. I won't do it. I don't care if it's one person that gets value, 100 people, 2,000 people. I don't care if it's 1,000,000 people. I will not record if the energy is not right. So there's certain things that I have to do to make sure my energy is in check when I record. I have to make sure that during this day I am not talking to anybody who's going to bombard me with nonsense. My I pray, I say my devotionals, I drink my water, I light my candles if I need to because I love aromatherapy. I love everything that smells great. So there's certain things that I need to do, right? And also to be consistent, I have to be organized. I really have to have a plan because with every podcast that I do, I have to have a podcast cover. The social media has to be aligned. I need to make sure that I post at the same time. So this episode and every episode that you guys listen to for SOEs every Tuesday, 12 a.m. is posted. For my fuller episodes, every Friday at 12 a.m., this is posted. So we need to be consistent and we need to be frequent. I don't want to stop it. If I do, of course, I'll let you guys know. Because then I don't really want you guys to miss me too much. But life be life in. And I want to make sure that I am consistent, I am frequent, and everything that I'm saying is relevant. You want to make sure that there's relevancy to your brand. You do not want to be off brand and talk about something or do something that your audience is not used to. Okay. So if your brand is about, and you can do whatever you want, but there's a way to filter people into that. So relevancy is, what is your audience like? And you can tell that from your analytics. You can tell that from what you see your analytics on Instagram or your website or your podcast analytics. Everything is being analyzed. So for my podcast, I was going to stop affirmations, but I realized based on my analytics that you guys really like affirmations. So I'm not going to stop it. I'm actually going to release one very soon. So please look out for that. So pay attention to what your audience like. Keep it consistent, keep it frequent, and keep it relevant. And you want to have fun with it. The more you plan your social media, the more you plan for your business, the more you plan and understand what time do you need to do X, Y, and Z. So I know that when I record, I usually need about 3 hours, right? Because I have to edit, I have to go over certain things, I have to record certain things over and over again. So I need to give myself time. I need to be in a quiet space. I need to make sure that I'm energized because I don't want to come in here. Hi guys. Hi. Welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast. You'll be like, what is wrong with her? Like, I'm not listening to this. So be consistent, be frequent, be relevant. To be consistent, you need to have a plan, get a planner, Google Keep, your phone, whatever it is that helps you stay organized, utilize that. To be frequent, know what works best for you. Do you like to post your reels at night? Does your audience like to look at things at night? Do you like to do things in the morning? What works for you based on your schedule? And relevancy, see what's happening around in your industry. What other things do you need to add? If you're a business owner and you're selling products, do you need to add PayPal? Like, I'm just giving an example, to your account to make it easier for your shoppers. Like, what can you do to stay hip and to stay up to trend? So something that I did with Save the Good Girl recently was add the Save the Good Girl podcast to YouTube because YouTube is coming over the podcasting game. And I want to make sure that I am visible to everybody to get this luxurious content. So therefore, I had to make a business decision to get the product and service that I need to really upload all of my episodes into YouTube nice and smoothly. So in addition to everywhere else that you guys can listen to and on my website, it's also on YouTube. So be consistent, be relevant, be frequent, have fun with it, love what you do, keep your passion alive. And all of that is going to drive your business. And when you're consistent and you're frequent and you have relevancy and all of that, you also need to be very patient. Be patient. I am saying that for me too, but just know it's coming. Your business will grow. Continue to keep telling yourself that and continue to put yourself out there because remember, your idea didn't just come from anywhere. You are gifted, you are talented, you are creative, and somebody needs to listen, purchase, or see you. They need to see you. So please get started, darling. Get started. Yay! I really hope that after listening to this episode, it really gave you the energy and motivation you need to put your brand out there and to get started and not feel as overwhelmed. As always, I want to know your feedback. How did you feel about this episode? If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment for me. On my website, you can contact me on savethegoodgirl.com in the contact section, or on social media. Send me a DM, follow your girl, see what's popping. You know what I mean? Let me know how you felt about this episode. Let me know if it really helped you. Let me know if it really alleviated any stress, because that is my goal. And I want to share, guys, that again, I am a beginner too, just like you. I don't have a $20,000 setup. I don't have, 10 people working for me. Well, not yet. So in the meantime, it's just me doing it by myself. And I really thought about all the other content creators, business owners, brand developers, podcasters, bloggers who also want to do their own thing, and they're doing it on their own as of right now. And this is what inspired me to do this episode. So I really hope that you found value. I really hope that these tips really helped you out. I'm looking forward to see what business you develop. Please let me know your business in the comments. Please send me an email on info@savethegoodgirl.com and let me know what you're going to do. I would love to feature you as well. So let me know, guys. I want to know if this really helped you out. That is my hope. And I hope that you guys have a very productive week. I hope that the wheels are spinning, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast so that you know anytime I drop. You can subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, on my website. You can subscribe everywhere. I want you guys to get the luxury content that you deserve, and I'm here to provide that for you. So thank you for listening. I cannot wait to talk to you next week. And let me tell you right now, your brand, your business, your podcast, your blogging, your content creator ideas is about to explode. Expect it, believe it, and prepare for it, because it's going to happen. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.